Hey there, hope you're doing okay today. We're going to get right into this quiz. I like to do these kind of live challenges mostly because they kind of force me to test my current knowledge. This one I don't think will be difficult, but I don't know, it'll be fun to walk through something that's just an API call, and we'll probably use React today. But I found this on devchallenges.io, I think it is, which I don't think I've done something on before. Strangely enough, I've not been coding a lot recently. It's just been a little too busy with work and everything else, so I feel kind of rusty. So hopefully we do okay today. If you can let me know if you can hear okay. On my end, it looks like everything's okay, but yeah, that'd be helpful to know from someone as well who is currently watching. Somehow last night, hey, from Poland, welcome. Somehow last night, when I set this up, it didn't go through. I think Google was like down or something. I don't know. I haven't seen anything online, but I haven't really looked yet this morning. But so when I went to bed, I thought I had it scheduled, and somehow it wasn't. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started here. Let me make sure I've got everything on like do not disturb and things like that. Looks like I do. Hi from India. Hi from Cuba. Welcome. All right, hi officially. My name is Chris. Thanks for joining. We're just going to kind of casually code and chat today. From Australia. Oh, same person. Welcome twice. So thanks for joining. Just kind of going to take it easy and code today. And let's see. Let's walk through this like I usually do. I haven't looked at this ahead of time other than like I scrolled through the page just to see like what they had, and they don't really have a whole lot of anything. It's just like instructions. I don't even think there's like a design file. So I'm mostly just going to focus on the JavaScript, I think. But so from what I read so far, it looks like we have to build a country quiz app. You have to hit an API endpoint, which they give you down here. Display the quiz questions with multiple options. Provide immediate feedback on users' answers. Allow the user to navigate between questions and show a congratulations page, which I don't even think they show you what that looks like. So I think you can just, oh, maybe it's this. Yeah, I think it is. So we just do whatever we want. So let's do that. Hi from Kenya. Hi from Tuva. I don't know where that's at. You'll have to let me know. Is that, yeah, since we're doing a country quiz, it's only fair that I'm curious about your country. So yeah, let me know where that's at. Okay, well, I'm assuming that you can hear okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. I'm assuming we should probably use React here. Again, I've not been doing a ton of coding recently, so I feel kind of rusty, so we'll see how this goes. But I don't know that we need to set up like a whole next app. I guess we could, so we can use, yeah, I guess we could use, I'm blanking on the name, server rendered component server. I can't remember anyhow what it's called. So maybe we should do that. Hi from Germany. Welcome. So let's go ahead and use nextjs.org. Nope. I don't know what it'll be. Yeah, it is nextjs.org. Is this down as well? Can't you tell VS Code Copilot to create it in React and change it accordingly? Yeah, I can, I suppose, but this is a coding challenge for me, not for VS Code. I don't know what's going on with the internet today. Okay, here we go. All right, cool. So let's come over here and let's create a project, and we'll just name this like country quiz. What was this thing called? Dev challenges country quiz. So that's what we'll name it. Republic of Tiva is a republic of Russia. Lies between geographical center of Asia and southern Siberia. Oh, cool. Awesome. I don't know why your messages are sending twice. It's very aggressive. TypeScript. Sure. And we'll let that install. Yeah, we'll write in TypeScript. It's a glitch. twice. No worries. I'd love to know what you're coding, what you're working on, what you're enjoying these days. This is just going to be a casual stream. Hopefully it's not too difficult. Basically, like just thinking through the project itself. Let's just open up VS Code. Sure, I trust these people since it's me. Okay, so here we go. The whole thing is server rendered by default. Server components, that's the word I was thinking of. I mean, it'll have a backend as like we'll have an API, but that's npm run dev. That's about it. It's the first time I'm actually streaming using my keyboard, my split keyboard. So if I struggle to type, I do great with all the normal typing. It's just all the special navigation things that I struggle with, and honestly coding I struggle with. But you gotta do it at some point. So let's see, we're at localhost 3000. Oh, nice. The Fatbot 1 looks like I got a single message from you, which is just a W. So it looks like maybe you fixed something. Nice, way to go. Shabu, it looks like you're learning React to TypeScript right now. Cool. Well, hopefully this will be helpful and not confusing for you. That's the goal. Let's go ahead and grab this REST endpoint. All right, so we're in App Router here. I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder. We'll call this API. And then anytime you have a route.ts, that will create an API route for you. So under here, let's do something like, I don't know, fetch, or let's just call it countries route.ts. That'll create a folder of countries. And then we're going to export const get. I think it's how that works. And here's where my typing skills come in handy, maybe. All right, there we go. We'll need to await here. Async, sorry. Basic options. And then let's just go ahead and console log something in here so I know it's working. Say like hi. And then I should be able to come over here to API countries, like that. And nothing happens. All right, let's remember how I'm supposed to do this. API routes. I thought I just exported const called get. API routes. That's basically what I did. So, guessing I can pull this in. Is there a reason that's not pulling in? I guess it doesn't really have to. I probably have to return something. Maybe that's the issue. It's been a while since I've written an X too, but all right. .ts, I did that. Server components, data fetching. That's true. I guess I could just do this in the actual server. I don't need to have an API route. And that will save me having to figure out what I did wrong, which I'm sure was just not returning an actual response or something. All right, so let's just do this up top here. So I'm going to make this bigger. Yeah, we could do this in a couple different ways, but let's just walk through their actual tutorial, because what you'll see is like what we can do now is inside the actual component, like you can just await stuff, and this will all be pulled in by the server and rendered by the server directly here. And then these individual items we can have, hopefully you can see this okay, now that my fat head's in the way. You can just pull this in on the actual page itself. So by server rendering, if you're used to something like Astro, like I am, this is kind of just front matter basically at this point. And then once this comes in, then you can go ahead and render down here. You can also have suspense and like put a loading state first and all this kind of stuff if you want to. But yeah. Oh no, the Fatbot, you're back to twice in a row. Let's see, got to split keyboard myself. If anything, found that special characters navigation became easier because these buttons are now just one letter away. that's fair. I think probably if I remapped all of them, I think I'm thinking more of like text selection and like I used all the macOS shortcuts to move around text. I like select stuff and move, and I don't know what they are. They just are under my fingers. And so anyhow, that was a bit of a challenge. All right, let's come inside here. We do need this whole page to be awaited, so, or async. So let's go ahead and we'll console like this down this way. And here I want to grab the endpoint. Do I have that there? I don't know if I do. Let's grab this and drop this in here. Okay, cool. So now if I come back over here and we reload over here, like this. Nope. Keyboard shortcuts. Something is happening. Okay, here we go. So we've got 250. Cool. So this is actually coming in. This was the post from earlier, not the one we're currently doing. Right? Let's clear this and reload. That is 250. Why are we getting 250 when we're limiting it to 10? I don't know. Okay, anyhow, basically we can now loop through these posts. Let's go here actually, just so we can see what this is going to give us. A Victoria's Secret, what is that? Autocomplete. All right, let's come in here to flag. Flags, okay, so let's use that. Let's just output the flag and like a little emoji thing, or let's do name common. How about that? So for each of these, I should be able to loop through them here. So let's get rid of all this stuff. And now we have this div. And inside here, let's go ahead and loop through all of ours. So to do templating, just like in a lot of JSX style, if I can remember where my keyboard shortcuts are, we're going to take our post.map, and for each whatever we're going to call it, if I can type, we're going to output. Let's just do like a p tag here where we take, sorry. We're just going to do the i.common.name. We'll see what happens here. Missing key. I thought it was i.common.name. Name.common. There we go. Okay, so we are actually getting these things in. I don't know why it's giving us so many though, because it should give us only 10. I'm assuming that's what that limit is supposed to do. Yeah, I don't know. I guess not, so let's just chop off 10. So let's say slice, and let's do 1 to 10, like that. And then we should only have 10. Okay, cool. All right, so all we have to do is basically show those or do something with them. So probably the first thing I want to do is once we get in that data, I want to actually, I want to create the quiz, I guess. Let's see. It's safe to put env variables there. Is it safe? I mean, technically yes, but you probably, like importing env variables, yes, but you would still obviously want to have a .env file. But yeah, this is safe. That's, I think, has been a lot of the confusion, like the mental gymnastics of like, is this server, is this client, and like exposing stuff accidentally. So yeah, this whole thing is the whole site is server-side rendered, basically. You have to explicitly say, I want to use this on the client, to use it on the client. So if that helps. It doesn't necessarily suit the project. It's just basically the main reason is these server rendered apps, server components. There we go. So the whole thing is server components, so that I can do this ahead of time like this, and then just basically pull in the data. And then I can display it and do stuff with it. So that's really the only advantage over using just stock Next. But like Parcel now has experimental for server components. So there are other like React frameworks or whatever, starting to use that. I don't think you can do it with Vite yet, although I know that some people have played with it and gotten it to work, but I don't think it's like an easy thing to set up. Okay, let's think through what we want this to look like. Do they have like an actual, which country does this flag belong to? Let's just do that for all of them. So why don't we like create the questions or something? So let's have a little library. And we'll have like a helper here. We'll call it create quiz.ts. Yeah, create quiz.ts. Sorry, what am I doing? Let's start with this. We're going to take in like countries, I guess. And then we're going to output, if I can type, stuff down here. So I do probably want to type this while we're at it too. So let's go ahead and add a little types folder. And we'll do like country, TS. And let's go ahead and grab one of these here. Where's this thing end? I don't know. Let's come back over here since we've got it over here already. We'll go back to console logging this, and I'll eventually add a key and stuff like that. All right, let's grab one of these. Copy object. JS. There we go. I'll paste it in there. We'll call it country. This just creates an interface basically for all this. We're going to export the country. That should work. I can barely hear the music and it seems weird. So tell me if it is. Hey, comrade, welcome. Let's come back to our page. It's like 5 in the morning for me, so sorry. I always feel like I wake up slowly over stream, but it's the way we keep stuff quiet around the house, so, or like I have to do it when it's quiet. So these posts here, let's just mark this as, actually let's just do it on the eye itself. So now we should know what these are. So if I come in here, name.common, okay, cool. That's what I wanted there. Let's come back over here. These should be country, like this. It'll be an array of countries. So I'm just typing this to make it easier when we actually figure out what we want this to do. All right, so create quiz here. Let's go ahead and export this. I guess we could make this the default export if we wanted. Export default. I always mess that up. And then we don't need this anymore. I guess technically, let's just leave it where it was at. And we'll just call it individually. Okay, so we get this country. What I want to do is separate this out between, and like basically create some questions. So what was our question again? As I wake up, what country does this flag belong to? So let's steal this. So basically what I want is a question for each of these items. Yeah, so let's take our, I think we should be able to just return. This music's weird. All right. Again, I can just barely hear it, but so let's think about the finished structure. I think what I want is I want each one to have a question. This can be a string. I want 4 options. 1 correct, obviously. That'll be an array of strings. And then, oops, finally I want to have Is that pretty much it? Yeah. Maybe we should just have 4 options like this and then just mark which one is the correct one. I think that should work. Or maybe this could be like an array of objects. Just thinking through this ahead of time. Where we have like, oops. Yeah, where we have like the flag, whatever that happens to be. And then we have like is correct. I think that works. Okay. So what I want to do is loop through each of these countries because we should only have 10 that are coming in here. What is the thing that Next.js can do that Astra cannot? Well, it's a full JavaScript framework. So, like full React framework. Sorry, obviously Astra is a JavaScript framework. So especially if you have a more complex app, it has some more controls around data. It's good at like super interactive things where like, yeah, in Astra you could wrap a whole route just in like a React app, but if like you have a massive section of your app that's entirely reactive, it makes sense to use like a React framework for that or something like that. Could you correct option be the index of the correct option? Could you have correct option? Yeah, that could work as well. I'm just thinking if I'm looping through it and they're clicking on it, then I'm going to want to say like, did they click on the right one? And rather than having to go look it up, I could just have that honestly in the DOM and just check or something. It wouldn't be that hard either way. So yeah, either way, I don't know if there's a proper way, especially with a quiz with 10 questions. All right, let's take the countries then. .map. And for each country, this should be, yeah, okay. You should know what I'm doing. I want to output this structure. So let's actually wrap this since we're going to return an object. If I can type. There we go. So we're going to have a question. Do I want to do anything before this? Or should I just implicitly return the entire thing? I don't think so. So let's just return the entire thing then. See, this should be implicitly returning countries.map. What am I missing here? This is just in the way. This, that, one more wrapper. What am I missing? I'm returning this explicitly. I got one here, one here, one here. I think it's just that I don't have something here. Okay. So we're going to say, which country does this flag belong to? And inside here, let's just have a little template string, if I can type, where we've got the c.flag dot, I guess let's just do that. All right, so let's create the quiz. So once we get the posts, then we're going to say quiz questions equals, and we're going to call create quiz and pass it our posts. And then let's go ahead and console log this. Post dot slice. So we don't have all of them. All right, so quiz questions. Why is this thing yelling at me? The fetch failed. Is this still up? Hey everyone, welcome. Also, would this data structure be the same how to store their final response, or you just save the state of the responses. Probably just save it. And yeah. Well, that's unfortunate if this is down. Just in case that's the case, let's do this, since it looks like it's down. Posts, or we should probably call this something like countries equals, and then we're just going to paste all this in. Oh boy. Probably shouldn't have done that. Let's get rid of this. Let's open up a new file. I don't know if like the internet's down today. Hey Christina, welcome. Yeah, I'm glad to be streaming as well. Hey everyone. We're doing a lot of waiting today. I hope that's okay. Agreed. I was thinking I just had the 10 on my clipboard. All right, here we go. So let's get rid of a bunch of these. Yeah, let's just import this. See if it'll let me go up. Just same level. We're going to go up. Going to go up one more time to data.ts, I think. Oh, it's back. Useful. Since I choked VS Code. Can we just reload and forget anything ever happened? I mean, it's also probably a good idea to, let's call this res, to do like a basic try catch. First of all, see, okay, we do have our questions. Which country does this flag belong to? Okay, so we did things right. It's just the internet's wrong today. So here, let's at least do a basic check. I say like if res.ok. And maybe what we should do, yeah, let's say let countries. And then we'll just assign countries down here. If res is okay. Let's do that. Otherwise, yeah, I guess let's grab this data first and make sure we're getting this actually in. So we can use our backup, basically. So we're going to go up another level, up another, then data. Which means I probably need to export this. Don't try to do anything. Don't try to format this, please. No. Just save our thing. Okay, so we'll set countries equals to data. Otherwise, we will change it out for that. Okay, I think that'll work. There's our quick quiz questions. And maybe let's just cancel this out and see if it actually works. Still works. If it actually saved. I think it did. Okay, cool. So maybe that's the best thing to do. Let's just use that static data. Why is this thing choking so hard on saving a simple page? Okay. All right, right, we're using our local data now. We'll go ahead and just kill that altogether. Oops. What did I call this? Interface. Yeah, okay, that should work. Res is not defined. Chill. All right, we're just going to use the local data then so that we don't have to keep hitting the endpoint. This thing will save for us. Okay, cool. Back to what we were doing. This should not be taking very long. We created our quiz. We have our question. Now we have to have the options. So we'll just say like answers, I guess, or something. And this is going to be an array of items. So the first thing I want to do is take this flag. And then maybe let's have a little helper up here. So we'll say const get random flags. Yeah, I think this should work. We'll say, let's have a num. I cannot type with this new thing. I told you I struggle with coding with it, but I want to get better, and there's only one way to try, and that is to evidently just go for it. So we're going to pass the countries first of all. Yeah. So this would be country like this. And then we'll say like an ID, which will be a string, and then the number. Okay. So we're going to pass all those things. In fact, let's just leave it how it is. For some reason, there we go. What I want to do is take my countries dot map, and for each country, we're now let's do this. Let's have the data for const C of, and what is going on? Countries. Why is this thing yelling at me? What's going on here? Oh. Okay, for C of countries, let's just do a little for loop where we check if data.length, if it's greater or if it equals 3. Let's just set this to an empty array. And since it's reference, we could just do that. All right, if it is greater than that, then I just want to return. Yeah, otherwise what I want to do is check is current country. No. Let's do this. Or if I'm going to check two things. If it's basically longer than 3, because I only want 3, and this should probably be the num that we pass in. So it should be only 3 that we want. If it's greater than the num, then I return, because I only want 3 other options. And then the other option would be or if the countries dot, nope, the c.id. What are we going to pass in? How does this look? Man, sorry this stream is so bad. I'm waking up though. It's going to be great. All right, let's grab one of these that seems to be unique, maybe. CCMR. Yeah, these all seem to be unique. So let's use that. So if this, and then this also can be countries. Sorry, this should be country. And I just pick off that property. .data. Is this top level? Yeah, it's top level. Should be able to pick that off. Whatever, let's just call it a string. All right, so if it's one of these two, then I return. So if this equals the ID that I've passed in, that's all we're getting after. Okay, so if those two things are the same, then I return. Otherwise, what I want to do is return just. This is taking so long. The c.flag. What is this thing called? Flag. Just the flag. Okay. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do now is come over here, and we're going to change this up to where we'll move all this in here, like like that, and we'll return here. But before we return, let's grab random, get random flags. We'll pass it the countries. We'll pass it the. So I should have done an object. The ID would be. Oh, you know what? I got to do this inside here, so never mind. So we're still going to do this. We just won't return directly here. Return down here. Get rid of this. Random flags equals get random flags. We'll pass it the countries. We'll pass it the ID, which is c dot whatever we decided for that to be, and then we'll pass it the number, which is 3, and then we'll come down here to the answers, and we'll have 3 different answers. We'll take random flags dot map. I guess here we could return. Nah, let's just map over these. String or undefined. So let's just say if these things exist. Then we'll do something, otherwise we'll just return null. And here we'll say rando flags dot map. We'll take each item, I guess, and we'll just return what do we want to do? I'll say the flag is whatever the I is. and then we'll say is correct, is false. All right, how about that? And then at the end of this, would this be a string, I guess? Map does not exist on type of string. This is not a string. This should be an array of strings. And then here we have to return data. Goodness. It's going to be fine. String or any, that's fine. Types, I don't know. Then at the end of this, I want to just push one more where we flag is the C dot flag, and the is correct is true. All right, maybe we can finally get somewhere. So let's come back over here. I'm going to fetch from here. Rainbow flags is not an option. Doesn't this return string or any or undefined? Why is that the case? All right, let's think through the logic here. Let's see. Next.js really is not like this. I know, right? Let countries as the default. You could shorten up that data TS file, or the VS Code will be checking that every time. Yeah, you're probably right. So let's just strip this out. Can I collapse this at all? No? Okay. Name. Why don't I just see if I can grab it over here? We're going to start at the very top with common. Nope. House official. Nope. Name. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's grab something like this. That should be about right. And let's replace all of this. Export. I think that is what's happening here, is this is just choking on this. But like a lot of times, like earlier, I was having trouble and it just wasn't pretty or wasn't working. So it was slowing me down. So I think it's probably wise to do this. We have name. I think I ended just before name. So that should be right. And we'll reload this one final time. Hopefully it can figure this out. Looks like something happened here. I think that's correct. It's just mad, but I think we're okay. Let's go back to here. Since it seems to be working, we'll cancel that out. And we'll move here. Here we'll just say, like, return, I don't know, early. call it a day, cancel that out, and see if it works. Because I might actually have a problem in the data, but I can't even tell because VS Code is choking. Why can't you YouTubers not show the real life coding the videos also? Yeah, well, I mean, it depends how I code on stream. Sometimes I code how I record. Also, I take objection to be calling a YouTuber, but I appreciate that. Pass each function, return an empty array to get random flags instead of undefined. What is returned a flag from? You're right. Now I should have to say this because I switched the data or the option here. Yeah, it just depends how you code. Like, I don't code in Next too much either, but this is just normal JavaScript stuff, so that's certainly not useful. This is, if this exists, then I want to take this. Let's see. Let's get back to here because now I actually know that there is a real issue. And this should work to be able to explicitly call this out. This should just be an array of strings is what I want to return here. I can return this, and then I return the data down this way. Should be this, which should be what I'm returning. So this should be getting back. I don't understand why this could get back a string. So I'd be grateful to see what that is. You're not restoring an array. Thanks for... Hey, awesome. Welcome, Hex. Yeah, but this for loop, shouldn't this be checking each of these items and returning... Oh my gosh. Well, like I said originally, this is why I stream, because it forces me to figure out, like, do I understand how to do this? Because, like you said, like when you're creating a video, you go through all this pain ahead of time. Usually it's not this bad, but especially for something that should be a pretty easy, a pretty easy challenge. This is not very difficult. But some days you just, you don't do well, and that's fine. And I think it's helpful for me to be forced to say, like, do I know what's going on or not? Okay, now we get to come down here and make sure that we got this correct. So if this is something... so let's check this first. Random flags is undefined. Okay, so we're also not getting something here. So I need countries, passing that in. This is a string, and this is a number. So now I got to figure out why this isn't working, because I'm pushing this onto here. This should be returning to me either strings or undefined. So if length equals num or this, then I return out of this loop. All right. So let's just do this for now. Let's see what I get here. Still getting answers null. So there's still something the matter here. Let's just do this for now. Let's see what I get here. Okay, so I am getting random flags there. So that's obviously something wrong in this logic, which, judging by today so far, we'll see. Let's take random flags. Quiz questions. So I'm going to push this if the data.length. So if the length of this is the same as the num, or I guess technically this would be the no -1. Or if the item I'm looping through, if its thing is the same as the ID that I passed in, then I return. Otherwise, I push another item into here, and this should return to me this. So why is it not? Well, let's start with this. I don't understand why that's happening. If anyone is still watching, there are people still watching. If you can help me out here. What am I messing up here? If the data.length, so this could be like 0, 3, 1. So each iteration of this loop, if it equals the number that I passed in -1. So if I passed in 3, if it's at 2, then I return because I'm already at the max amount. Otherwise, if the country dot this, which would be a string, is the same as the string that I passed in, then I also want to return. I don't understand why this is causing me issues. Let's come into here and let's see what happens if I do this. What am I messing up? Because this should just return out of the for loop. Break, not return. Because I'm inside of for. Oh my. Yeah. Some days you just don't have it, and that's okay. And that's why I stream. So hopefully I have it when I stream, but it doesn't always happen. Okay, so now that we're down here, we should be able to get these actual quiz questions and do something. Which country? We have 4 answers. That's not exactly what I want. So obviously down here we also have an issue. We're going to push this random flag. We map through each of the random flags. We're returning out of this map. Yeah, thanks, Hex. These should all be correct. That's good. This is the end of a map. Why can't I push on the end of this? Did I mess that up somehow? So I'm going to push this on where I have the flag, which is the c.flag, and I have the is correct, which is true. Why is this not working? I don't know, but let's take this. And then here I'm just going to push this on the end of that. I don't know how that's any different, but what am I messing up? No, you shouldn't have to because it's already an array. I don't know what I'm doing today. Turning this into a whole event. This is an array. I should be able to just push onto it. I should be able to push an item onto this. So like this should be something for each of these items. And I should be able to push onto this the extra item. What am I messing up? So I have to push up here. That's actually not something I knew, so if that's the case.
See, that still gives me 4, so maybe I'm not understanding you. So we'll say like answers equals, and we're going to have this inside here, if this is what you mean. And I'll have this down here, which means I don't have to double type that. Answers. Let's see. And then I can just take answers, push, and push on these the random. Actually, let's just do this. Get random flags. We'll do another for loop since I'm so good at those. We'll do const flag of random flags. And then inside here, we'll say answers dot push, and I'll just push the F on each of these. Nope, like this. If I can type, gosh. Come on. All right, like that. And now the answer should be correct. That should have taken me 5 minutes. This is not complicated. I'm so sorry. All right, so here we are over this way. We've actually got quiz questions. That only took an hour. What are we even doing? All right, so we've got 10 across the top. Let's at least create the game board and then be able to handle this. So I think rather than like keeping this a separate state or something like that, yeah, push below the line. Yeah, I could have spread it in. This is not a very good representation of how JavaScript works. I'm so sorry. Yep, exactly. I could have spread it in exactly like that. I could have done that there too instead of redoing all that. So I apologize for that. Let's come over here. We've got each of these. These are be buttons to start with. We could, yeah, let's just do it like that. So I'll have this top section, flex gap 2, something like that. Align items center, justify center. And inside here, we'll have buttons. Oops. Ideally, this would be its own component, but at this point, I'm not going to do that. And we want buttons for each of these. So let's go ahead and map over the quiz questions. Actually, let's just do array.from. Should be able to pass in a number here. Can I pass in like an object that has length? Yeah, like 10. We're going to map over each of these, and we'll have the number. And I guess because we're using, let's make this bigger. We'll have the number, and then we'll have the index. All right, we're going to have a button. I need a key here, which is why I grabbed the index. Not always the best idea here, but I think it'll be fine in this case because it's just a made-up array anyhow. And in here, we will have whatever the index. I don't even know that we need the number actually. So I guess we can just make this an underscore. See if we can maybe slightly redeem the stream. If I can type. I'll do the index -1. Oh, +1. There we go. We got our 10 buttons that do nothing right now. We could do like a little use hook or something like that. Because this is going to be client rendered, this whole section. Maybe we could extract this out to its own component actually. So we'll worry about that in a second. But at least for right now, let's go ahead and add some basic styling. So we'll say class name equals like padding 4. Actually, let's just do this. Let's do grid. Place items center. Background slate. Sure, it doesn't really matter. We'll use size of like 12. And rounded full. All right, we've got some buttons that have things on them. We'll do font bold. That's fine. Just to make it a little bit easier to see. Okay, so we at least have buttons working. I'll probably extract this out into its own component. But next, let's get rid of this. Come back over here. Let's display the question. So down below here, we're going to have probably like a grid, something like that, or we'll have the question. So we'll have like a question to show. So I probably should have some state here. So let's go ahead and extract all this out to its own component. So the core of the app will actually be like a client components. So we'll say like quiz.tsx, I guess, doesn't really matter. And here we'll pass this in. I guess this can be just a fragment. That should work. We should be able to pick off the index for the current item. I think that'll work. And I guess what we could do is pass in, we're going to have to pass in several things here, but this first of all needs to be use client, because since now we're going to be using client-side JavaScript here. So let's go ahead and take in the countries. I think that makes sense. So we'll pull on country. Look at us actually coding things. Let's, instead of doing this whole array from thing, let's just take the countries here and map over them. In this case, though, we'll take the country and we could do this since we were using that earlier. And I guess we could take, I don't see why we couldn't take the index here. So let's do that, and that should still produce the same thing. Well, I guess we haven't switched it out here. So here we have the quiz. Did I not export this at all? Oh, quiz. To actually name this thing. What did I name it? Countries equals countries. So I guess, oops, no, I want, this should be quiz questions, shouldn't they? Yeah, so questions. And right now we'll just say any. Because I forgot these are going to be different questions. Here, let's just take the index for now. All right, now the questions themselves, this should be an array of items. Guess we could also have an ID on each of these things. That wouldn't hurt. So over here, let's also have an ID. And this could just be we're in the same loop, right? Yeah, so we'll do that. Pull this in over here. So now this structure looks like this, where we've got an ID, answers, and a question. Yeah, so let's go ahead and just copy this structure out here. We'll see. Since we're probably only going to use this here, I guess let's go ahead and create a new one though. So we'll say question.ts. Export interface. I guess since we're using interfaces over there. Oops, let's close this down. Let's see, question string. Export interface. What am I messing up here? I have to give it a name, of course. Question. All right, so there we go. We got that. We got that. So we'll pull this in. Question. If it will let me. Okay, cool. So now we should be able to map over those. Once we pull them in, and this is yelling because it could be nothing, maybe. Quiz, questions. So I guess the fetch failed again. Oh, great. This thing still doesn't like us. Probably something to do with the way this is structured. So while we wait for the internet to start working again. Huh. What doesn't it like about that? I don't know. So here, let's go ahead and just select all this. And we'll just surround this with this. And we'll just say that if questions, then do this. Is that what the issue is? Oops, quiz, questions. No, this doesn't like this. Is correct. Type questions. All right, I see some more stuff over here. Let's see. Reading flow and reading order CSS property added so the browser can automatically set the correct tab order if you change order of elements using CSS. All right. I don't know what I'm doing today, but clearly it's not going great. So this happens like every few months where I just I really struggle on a stream, but that's okay. I'd rather like it be real in that way. Like Gizzy, you should be able to figure this out in like 30 minutes. This is not a hard challenge, right? Like this is not difficult. But it's just some days you just don't have it. I don't know what I'm messing up here, but obviously enough. See, this is saying I can't map over this questions. This is a type question. Like this is not a difficult thing to figure out. But like I've obviously made this way too difficult for myself. But yeah, it's totally fine to do this. Like you're gonna learn from this, and I think sometimes like just being realistic, like this is like I'll leave this stream up, with a warning on it that like we didn't get anywhere, and that's totally fine. I have to actually go because I gotta work on stuff for work. This was supposed to take me like 30 minutes, and I was gonna talk for an extra 30 minutes, but like. Yeah, hopefully I do better at work today than I've done at this, but I don't have to code today too much, so that's good at least. But like this is super realistic. So let me talk through what I would do, since clearly I don't know what I'm doing here. But like this should not take long at all. And sometimes like you get off stream and then you're like, okay, let me just do this really quick and it works. And other times you don't, you just stunk that day. Today's definitely one of these days. Yeah, I don't understand what type questions. Yeah, I don't really understand what the issue is here. Because these quiz questions should be the exact same structure. An array of this. That's what I'm literally passing in here. Yeah, it's just not my day. This interface. See, this is an actual array. Did I have this somehow as questions? No. I don't know. Anyhow, so I'm going to call it good, I think. I don't think it's a typing thing because it's one of those days. Yep. All right. Well, unfortunately, I got to go to work. So I apologize for the lack of quality on the stream, but it happens sometimes. And yeah, that's how real life goes. So, but thanks for following along. Thanks, Gissy, for all the help. I didn't expect to need it on like what I thought was going to be the easiest challenge. I actually almost didn't do it because I was like, this is going to go way too fast. But yeah, not today, I guess. So thanks so much. I'll catch you in the next one. Happy coding. Happier than today.